So for the past couple of weeks, I've pretty much lost all the consistency that I used to have. I'm not saying I was some expert or anything, but the past couple of weeks have been complete nothingness. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I had my final exam. I finished my final exam and it was the summer holidays, boom. And then some stuff kind of happened in my life, I won't go too much into it, but I started falling off everything I used to do. So I used to go to the gym pretty consistently, 4 times a week. And for the past 2-3 weeks, I've only gone a couple times. And I stopped working on this YouTube channel as much as well. My frequency of video uploads went down. I wasn't writing as much. I wasn't recording as much. I wasn't working on my hobbies as much. And I was doing a lot more of these bad habits. I spent so much time scrolling on Instagram. I mentioned it in this other video about my attention span. But anyway, I was scrolling so much on Instagram, doing all these bad habits, wasting time, just staying indoors all day, not going outside, not doing anything. So I basically fell into this rut for a couple of weeks. So this video is going to be kind of for me to hype me up and tell myself what I would do to get out of this rut. But hopefully you get some value out of it as well. So what I can tell you is that this is completely normal. This happens to me a bunch of times. I'll fall into these periods of just not doing anything, just doing all the bad stuff and just feeling bad about myself. And you can get caught into it, you can get trapped into it. So the first thing to realize is that you just have to accept that this is normal. This happens. You've spent your whole life doing bad habits probably. You have spent your whole life not being consistent on working towards your goals, on doing what you want to do. So it's deeply ingrained into your mind that, you're not a disciplined person. You're someone who does all these bad habits and stuff. So it's going to take many, many years to rewire your brain and change your habits so that you are always consistent. But you also have to realize that you're probably making more progress than you realize. Just because for the past couple of weeks you've fallen off self-improvement or whatever, you haven't been making progress, what you got to do is you got to look at the long term. Probably since you began, you've probably made a lot of progress since you began. Definitely for me, I've made progress in the gym since I began. It's just a couple weeks that I'm kind of going off track. So what you have to realize is progress is not linear. It's not like you start going to the gym and then you make progress, boom. You're an athlete. No, it's kind of like this. You'll make some progress and then you'll fall down. Progress down. You might stay down for a while. But in the long run, you should be kind of going up like this. So what you want to look at is the long run. Are you actually making progress in the long run? That's the first thing. Second thing, if you're just starting off, you're new, even you're in your first year of going to the gym, your first year of working on something, it's going to take a while for you to be consistent every single day. But you're just focusing on these small periods where you're not being consistent. If you actually zoom back and look at the macro scale, you've probably made more progress than you realize. It might just be 1 week, 2 weeks where you're kind of off track. But in the macro scale, you might actually be making progress. This might be just a small dip that you've made. If Amazon had a bad day or a bad week where their sales were down, they were Amazon multi-billion-dollar company, and one day, they lost some sales. Imagine if they focused on that down thing. Imagine if they focused on that day that they weren't making sales. They'd be oh man, this company's a failure, it's not working. That's basically what you're doing now. You're focused on this tiny period of time where you've lost progress. But in the long scale, you've probably made more progress than you realize. So first of all, realize that this is normal and, just accept it. That's the first step. Otherwise you're just going to feel so bad about yourself and you're going to hate yourself for being in this period. So once you've accepted that you're in this period, you have to realize that you're not going to be able to reach your previous consistency like that. Before you fell into this period, this rut, you were probably going to the gym 4 days a week or working 3 hours a day or something. But then you've essentially destroyed that habit by not doing it for the past few weeks. So what you got to do is you got to stop trying to reach that previous consistency that you had. One of the reasons you're stuck is because you're trying to reach the consistency that you had. You're trying to go to the gym 4 days a week again. You're trying to go back to doing 3 hours of work a day. But the problem is, that's too hard for you right now. You have to realize that you're not good enough to do that yet. It's too hard for you right now. It's so daunting when you think, oh man, I gotta go to the gym 4 times this week. Right now, it's really daunting for you. And that's what's actually holding you back. That's one thing that's holding you back. Your standards are way too high. You need to realize that it's gonna take a couple weeks to reach your previous consistency again. So you need to start slow. The other day, I started slow. I literally just went to the gym and I told myself, okay, today I'm just gonna hit chest. That's it, I'm just gonna hit chest. bro split. I'm just gonna hit chest. And the other day I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write for 15 minutes. That's it, write a script for 15 minutes, nothing else. And today I was like, okay, I'm just gonna film one video. But I ended up filming 2 videos. So you just wanna start really slow. You wanna start small and you wanna take a couple weeks to go back to your previous consistency. Because it's kind of this perfectionist mindset where you're thinking, okay, if I don't go 4 days a week, I'm a failure. And that perfectionist mindset is holding you back. So you have to start small and build it up over time to reach your previous consistency. Because the consistency you were doing before this rut, it probably took you many months to build up to that consistency, right? Like you probably didn't start off training that hard, or you didn't start off working that hard, right? So because you've fallen off, you need to re-ramp yourself up and go back to your previous discipline. Because here's another thing that I've realized. Discipline is like a muscle. When you use it and you train your discipline, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, right? But when you stop using discipline for a while, like a muscle, it atrophies. It gets weaker. So if you don't use your discipline for a couple weeks, you go back to a period where your discipline is not that good. So like a muscle, you need to train it up again. You need to build it up again with progressive overload. So literally just start with the bare minimum. Let's say you want to get into meditation. Literally do like one breath where you're mindful. Let's say you want to get into the gym again. Literally train one muscle group. Do one push-up. But what you want to do is you want to get back into the habit. So you want to do it every single day. Because the hard part for you right now is simply turning up. You're not even turning up. So once you turn up, the hard part is over. Like let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to hit chest. But when you actually get to the gym, you might realize like, oh man, like I'm here, I've hit chest, I may as well hit back as well. So literally if you just turn up every single day, do something every single day, even if it's the bare minimum, you will actually end up doing a lot more than you realize. Because when you've turned up, when you're there, you're just naturally going to want to do more. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's going to start to become easy. Turning up to the gym every day is going to start to become easy. And so the next step is to just make it a little bit harder. So that's the next thing I can say. Accept you're in this rut, accept you're in this period, and accept that it's going to take a couple weeks or even a week or maybe even a month to get back to your previous consistency. And you need to have this long-term mindset that you're in it for life. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be going to the gym, exercising for the rest of my life. So what is a couple weeks to get back to the previous consistency? It's nothing. In the long term, it's nothing. Like how the human life is nothing compared to the length of the universe, Like, okay, that's a really weird example, but you know what I mean? Like a month of being inconsistent, a month of having an injury is just a small blip in the long, infinite journey of going to the gym. So when you see it long term like that, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll take a couple weeks to get back into it, no problem. So yeah, literally do something every single day. Like you might think, oh man, doing a whole workout, that's so hard, I can't do that, man. But you might also think, oh, going to the gym, that's easy, I can do that. Just turning up at the gym and doing one exercise, that's easy. So do what's easy for you now. Do something that's just a little bit beyond your comfort zone, just a tiny bit beyond your comfort zone. And then when that becomes your new comfort zone, when training chest becomes your new comfort zone, then you can push a little bit further and add shoulders to it or something. Slowly expand your comfort zone till you're back to your previous consistency. Because like a muscle, discipline has muscle memory. So if you stop using discipline for a couple of weeks, it's gonna be much quicker for you to reach your previous level of discipline, but like a muscle, you have to reset essentially and train from lighter weights, do easier tasks. Okay, another thing that could be affecting you in this rut, this is gonna sound weird, but you could be too focused on your bad habits. Let's say you've gotten back into watching porn, or you're like doing drugs or something, and you're like, oh man, I can't go to the gym because I'm doing drugs all day, or I can't go to the gym because I'm just scrolling on social media all day. I wanna fix this bad habit so I can start going to the gym, right? This is the wrong way to look at it, because if you're focused on your bad habits, you might not realize it, but you're kind of using it as an excuse to not do what you wanna do. So you're like, oh man, I can't go to the gym because I'm watching porn all day long. It's just an excuse. You can still go to the gym even if you're doing the bad habits. So what I can say is forget about the bad habits for now. Like I'm not saying indulge in them and do them all day, but you need to switch your focus to the good habits, your goals. So instead of focusing on, oh, I need to quit weed or something, focus on, okay, I need to get to the gym. I need to go to the gym right now. So focus on the good things, because that's where you're going to have the most impact. Because a day where you smoked weed all day, but you went to the gym for 5 minutes, that's better than a day where you smoked weed all day, but didn't go to the gym. So you can deal with your bad habits later. Your bad habits will naturally fall off as well a little bit if you start implementing these good habits. So focus on the changes you want to make rather than the stuff you want to get rid of. Like focus on what you want to add instead of the bad habits that you want to get rid of, if that makes sense. Because when you're focusing all your energy on getting rid of these bad habits, it's like a distraction. hiding you from the good habits that you know you need to do. So yeah, this is all discipline, bro. This is all discipline. Just rebuild it. It's like a muscle. Rebuild this muscle. Anyway, I'm so hyped for this winter arc. You know, I heard this term recently, winter arc. I've never heard it in my life. Anyway, I'm in Australia, so it's not even winter, it's summer. I'm boiling in this sweater right now, but I'm so hyped for this winter arc. Like, it's gonna be a good summer. It's gonna be a good summer. I'm gonna push myself to new levels. This is gonna be great. You know, this is just a temporary period of 2 weeks or so where I've fallen into this period of just being lazy, doing nothing. It's a part of life, you know, it happens. It's good that I feel bad about it though, because if I didn't feel bad about it, I'd keep living like this. So, you know, the fact that you feel bad for falling into this rut or whatever, you can be grateful for it. You can see it as a good thing, because it's your brain telling you, hey bro, get up. You know, get up, do what you know needs to be done. So, you know, many people will think it's toxic, like, oh man, you know, it's toxic to feel bad that you're not being productive. But, you know, is it really? Because it's pushing you towards the better life. Because I know this winter arc of me working really hard is gonna be so fun. It's gonna be the best best summer I've had in my whole life. And hopefully I'll continue this in the long term. So in a way, it's a good thing that I feel bad, because it's pushing me to the life I wanna live. Anyway, hope this video helped. I'll keep you boys updated on this winter arc, and let me know in the comments your goals for this winter.